The name Disney is synonymous with clean, family-friendly entertainment, evoking images of colorful characters and smiling children. But there's more to the House of Mouse than meets the eye. Most are familiar with the notorious mind control program known as MKUltra, which later evolved into Project Monarch. But what is less known is the alleged role Disney movies and parks play in this nefarious program. Not only is Disney programming a staple of Monarch mind control, some victims even report being taken to Disney parks for programming. And a great number of Disney stars show signs of having been subjected to this form of total mind control.
And that's why people like Britney Spears and the Master Tears just went nuts.
MKUltra mind control rules in Hollywood.
To produce the realistic alter personalities required for Monarch mind control, programmers need highly immersive, realistic fantasy worlds into which victims can dissociate. Two of the first movies they chose were Wizard of Oz and Disney's Alice in Wonderland, which had only recently came out at the time. By using common base programming scripts, the Illuminati could create thousands of Monarch slaves, all with similar triggers and alters. Today, most MKUltra victims have some form of Wizard of Oz and Alice in Wonderland programming. Disney's relationship with the government dates back to World War II, when the company was incorporated into the U.S. war machine, producing instructional videos and propaganda cartoons. Donald Duck starred in government-sponsored short films where he lambasted Hitler and the Nazis, and even helped get more Americans to pay income taxes. But just how deep does this relationship go? And did it ever really end? The connection begins with Walt Disney himself. Few know that Walt was actually working undercover for the FBI, reporting on suspected communist activities and anything else suspicious in Hollywood at the time. In 1954, Walt was promoted to Special Agent in Charge, which means other agents actually reported to him. Might Walt have also participated in the MKUltra project that was going on at the same time, involving Hollywood stars such as Marilyn Monroe? While we can't know for certain, Walt seems to have been the type who would have been allowed into the CIA's inner circle. He is widely believed by alternative researchers to have been a Freemason. Some even claim of the 33rd degree. Walt was a member of DeMolay, which is a youth feeder program into the Masons, and he created an exclusive club at Disneyland called Club 33, whose membership list reads like a who's who of the Hollywood elite. In her book, Transformation of America, Kathy O'Brien wrote of how she was repeatedly shown Disney movies and The Wizard of Oz as a child to condition her mind for the Monarch programming she was receiving.
The Wizard of Oz, from my point of view, was that over the rainbow and Kansas is radically different places that had pretty much the same characters but in a different form, one place or the other. And like my father would just be, whatever he was around the house. My father.
MKUltra victims with Disney programming will often be obsessed with Disney.
Would be, and over the rainbow, it would be something completely different. It would be a different setting, a different projection of him that was perceived over here. So it's to somebody who's been severely traumatized, it makes illogical subconscious sense where it can be related to. It makes illogical subconscious sense where it can be related to. And then you take something like follow the yellow brick road. You have to follow exactly where you're told to go in order to achieve whatever it is to arrive or to even get back home, or whatever else. You have to do exactly what you're told.
This was no game. We had to read the maps and follow the directions that were encoded. We had our own language. It was cartoon character and Disney based. Then I read Kathy O'Brien's book and heard her testimony about how they delivered messages to each other that was cartoon and Disney based.
Because look at this badge that Charlotte, can you see this? Can you see this? Ursula from The Little Mermaid. Which you love this film?
Yeah, it's not a game for me at all.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No, you're talking about some very serious stuff.
Just like Marilyn Monroe, most, if not all, Playboy bunnies are MKUltra sex kittens. This is especially true with former reality star Holly Madison. Her book, titled Down the Rabbit Hole, about her life at the Playboy Mansion, is not only Alice in Wonderland themed, she appears in classic victim form, dressed as Alice, and displaying the Illuminati's sign of silence on the cover. Alternative researchers have long speculated that Hugh Hefner's Playboy Mansion was involved in high-level sex trafficking and honeypot blackmail operations. Madison now regularly posts pictures of her daughter Rainbow Aurora, probably named after Sleeping Beauty, doing numerous Disney-related activities, and dressing as Disney characters. She even took the newborn to Disney World and spent $15,000 on an exclusive Disney dining experience. This is a prime example of the hereditary nature of the Monarch program and its value in the entertainment. Spent $15,000 on an exclusive Disney dining experience. This is a prime example of the hereditary nature of the Monarch program and its value in the entertainment industry. For those willing to do a bit of research, the connections between Disney, mind control, and the sex industry are all right in the open. In 1985, Disney produced what many consider to be one of the most disturbing movies the company has ever released, Return to Oz. Anyone familiar with MKUltra themes will recognize what this movie is all about. Not only is it Wizard of Oz themed, which is a classic Monarch script, but it depicts the main character being electroshocked in a dingy mental asylum. Rather than colorful lollipops and munchkins, this film is set in a dark mental institute, and many of the scenes are terrifying to children. Return to Oz is all about a young girl being taken in to a psychiatric institute to be traumatized and programmed. It isn't difficult to see how films such as these are used as an MKUltra programming tool. Peter Pan is another Disney film commonly reported by victims to be used as a Monarch programming script. Recall Michael Jackson's affinity for all things Peter Pan. Perhaps some of the strongest evidence for Disney's involvement in the secret Monarch program is the number of Disney-affiliated entertainers who seem to exhibit the signs and symptoms of trauma-based mind control, most notably public meltdowns and personality changes. Shia LaBeouf, who has gone on to show multiple signs of being a Monarch victim. He starred in a music video by artist Sia, which contained obvious MKUltra symbolism, such as a giant bird cage. He has also had very public meltdowns. At one point, Disney's Mickey Mouse Club featured Justin Timberlake, Christina Aguilera, Britney Spears, and Ryan Gosling in the same cast. What are the odds that so many of the kids would go on to be household names? Victims programmed with Disney mind control often wear Mickey Mouse ears to signify their programming. Notice the shattered glass on the album cover of former Disney star Nick Jonas. Miley Mickey Mouse ears to signify their programming. Notice the shattered glass on the album cover of former Disney star Nick Jonas. Miley Cyrus is another Disney star who frequently displays mind control symbolism. Here she is in a bird cage, which is one of the most classic symbols used to identify members of the Monarch program. Disney is notorious for creating a hypersexualized image around its teen stars. Miley went on to shock the world with her lewd performance with Robin Thicke, who was wearing a classic MK Handler black and white outfit. Joe Jonas has spoken out about what it is really like to work for the Disney Corporation and describes them as, quote, controlling puppet masters. Disney's theme parks also play heavily into the MKUltra conspiracy. Author Fritz Springmeier claims an enormous amount of programming takes place at Disneyland and World. Victims themselves, such as Kathy O'Brien, have reported being taken to Disney parks for programming. In fact, in her book Access Denied, she describes Disney World as an epicenter of MKUltra programming. The highly detailed, immersive rides create the perfect environment to make the alternate worlds of their programming come alive for the victim.
I was taken to military bases, I was taken to Disneyland, and I was taken to NASA, and I was put into a lot of the equipment that they use on astronauts and that they have there.
Fiona Barnett reports virtual reality simulations being used in her programming while underground at Disney World, and describes elite parties taking place after hours at the park.
And then after that I was taken to Disney World on the way home, and I just remember they did a bit of MKUltra programming there.
At Disney World?
Yes, Disneyland was actually built not just as a theme park, but as a part of the MKUltra program, and they use it. See, when they close the park, they use it for pedophile parties and for MKUltra programming. And see, the programming has lots of Disney themes in it, so they're all used. These are the themes they use on children, and so when they play the movies. Like Fantasia, you know, is a classic programming film, which, you know, kids like me hate. Brings back terrible memories of throwing up, etc. But all those programs, that's what they are. They're programs. So they only have to play those movies to us, or we only see something that reminds us in those movies. So we just have to see the outfit that Alice in Wonderland wore or whatever, and what it does is it reinforces the programming, and it reinforces those neural connections that they've created artificially, and keeps everything else, keeps the programming active. So it's like reinforces the trauma, reminds you of the trauma, it triggers you. That's what it's like if we see these reminders of being absolutely brutally tortured, then it sets us off. And it has the desired effect on our brain. So while I was there, I mean, I just remember Ted Turner raping me there. And there were other men there. I was very drugged though at different times. They drugged me and they put me in that horrible teacup ride and spun me, and then, you know, put me through that It's a Small World After All, you know, ride. That was horrible. And I was drugged and just vomiting, and they used hypnosis. Yeah, that's what I remember, and then, I don't know, I don't remember the trip home.
Like the caterpillar becoming the monarch butterfly, victims are told they can become a celebrity. This is sometimes true. The CIA uses MKUltra victims in the entertainment industry as models, actors, and singers.
Yeah, Hollywood to me is really just has always been sort of a branch of the CIA, sort of the entertainment branch of the CIA. I think it's just been filled with, and you know, just laced with intelligence operations from day one, and mind control really kind of runs rampant in Hollywood among the, you know, musicians and the acting community. I think it's just everywhere.